Hello, friends. Welcome to this Saturday morning video. During the past several months, the conference leadership team has emphasized innovation, experimentation, and implementation. I have here with me today Reverend Tom Parrish, the Northeast District Superintendent, and Reverend Chris Powell, the pastor at the Owens Cross Roads United Methodist Church. Chris, you and Crossroads have a great experiment going. Will you tell us some about it?
Sure. First off, thank you for the opportunity to talk about this. Our church is just like every other church in the pandemic, right? We were trying to figure out how to be able to worship together in our current context, and everything kept telling us, the science kept saying outdoors is better than indoors. So we tried meeting outdoors. Alabama heat kind of made that difficult. So we looked at different options, and ultimately what we ended up doing was saying, well, let's just build an outdoor worship space that will allow us to come together now, and something that will also have post-pandemic as well for the church. So that's what we did. We built a worship space that is a replica, I guess you would say, of our contemporary worship space, and we just butted it right up against each other so we could wheel our tech equipment out, and it's been a great place for us to come together and to worship.
Chris, that is so creative. Tell us how this experiment has made a difference in your congregation.
One of the first things that we noticed was an increase in energy, right? Going from worshiping entirely online to be able to come together in a limited way, but still it was on the same property. That was a huge boost for us. And for our church in particular, specifically our contemporary service, we come around the Lord's table every week. And so missing that for months on end was quite a hit to our church. And so being able to have that part of our life together in the community restored was a great thing. So it's also allowed us a chance to restart some of our programs, such as our Sunday evening Bible study. We're able to have it outdoors instead of trying to bring it back inside. So it really was a huge boost to our congregation, and that showed up in the numbers. We were able to get back to about 50% of our pre-COVID numbers, which I hear is a pretty decent number in today's time to be able to do that. And that alongside of our streaming worship meant that we were able to hit most of our people and give them an opportunity to worship.
What has your congregation learned from this experiment?
We learned that Alabama weather is unpredictable and that it becomes difficult meeting outside. But we also learned that this is not an earth-shattering experiment, right? This is in essence, a pavilion that we built, and a lot of churches have those already. But the thing that we learned is that it doesn't really take the best idea in the world to simply meet a need. You just need the need and then figure out how you're going to meet it. And so it's allowed us to begin thinking in other needs that come up in the church. How can we possibly meet those in ways that we wouldn't have thought about before? And so as we move forward in trying to get children's ministry started back up in the future, is this something that can help us reimagine our children's ministry, our youth ministry? And what other things can we possibly reimagine in light of our current context that's more than likely never really going to be the same again after this?
Tom, as the district superintendent of Owens Cross Roads United Methodist Church and Reverend Chris Powell, what most impresses you about this experiment?
Well, Bishop, first of all, Owens Cross Roads is just a great congregation. They have wonderful people who love the Lord and are really passionate about reaching out into the community, about making disciples. And they're very serious about their faith and how they serve the Lord. And secondly, Chris is just a marvelous preacher. He does a great job. He's an excellent communicator, has a great vision and understanding. And together they make a great team as they seek to make disciples for Jesus Christ. But I think a lot of it too comes down to passion, a willingness for the people to go the extra mile, to do something innovative, to try something new and different. I just think their heart for this is really something special, to continue making disciples no matter what it costs or how hard it may be.
Thank you, Tom. I have one more question. If someone listening has an experiment stirring in their hearts that they want their local church to try, what steps would you recommend?
I would say the first thing to do is pray, seeking God's face, trying to get an understanding of where the Holy Spirit is leading is a it's the most important part of what we do as we try to innovate and seek ways to serve the Lord in this pandemic. But also, I think that it's important to ask the right questions. Chris alluded to it, that you ask, what is the need and how can we meet it? What ways can we do in simple or complicated or inexpensive or expensive ways? What can we do to meet that need? And then the last thing I would say is be sure and let the district office know. There are resources out there. There are people out there we can connect you with that might help you and provide you with some insight, some resources, maybe even financial resources that we can share that'll really be a benefit and a blessing as you seek to experiment and to grow the kingdom in whatever location you may be.
Again, thanks Tom and Chris for being here with us today. It has been great to hear this real-time example of innovation, experimentation, and implementation. Keep up the great ministry in the Northeast District and at the Owens Cross Roads United Methodist Church. Also, thanks to those of you who are listening. Know what a privilege it is to serve alongside you here in the North Alabama Conference.